This is the meeting after the meeting. None of our participants get paid, and we don't speak for Alcoholics Anonymous. Enjoy the show.
Yeah, I'm feeling this one.
I wanted to say it reminds me of a couple rappers, but I'm not sure who what kind of it's got that like it.
We have a discerning guest tonight, so he's a fan of electronic music.
Excited.
It's appropriate.
This is good.
It feels grimy and classic.
It does.
I don't think you could say grimy and classic at the same time.
I think
classically
you can. I just
grimy?
did.
Why not?
Why not? I just
Classically grimy?
Gabe just invented that.
did. Yeah, classic
Like
hip hop,
classic grimy.
Classic hip hop, the grimy, the New York stuff,
I thought you meant the genre grime.
Oh, no.
Nah.
I mean, come on, Gabe.
I was using it as more of an adjective than a descriptive genre.
Okay.
Look, I love it. We are here. We got another great episode of the meeting after the meeting. I want to welcome you. This is episode 7.
Golly.
Chris, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Gabe, how you doing?
Doing well. Happy to be here.
Yeah. How was your week?
It was good. I love Wednesdays now, man. I look forward to Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Wednesdays used to be a boring day, not anymore.
And it's not just the burrito.
No, it's not just the burrito.
We've been steady eating burritos every week now for a while.
I'll swap in the bowl, some brown rice to make it a little,
What did you do tonight?
No, hold on. I ordered everything for everyone tonight.
Gabe got a
nobody's
burrito.
meal was healthy.
Gabe
it was
got a
all white
burrito.
rice,
It wasn't
sour
healthy.
cream, cheese.
He was complaining about the burrito upstairs, actually. He said, there's no guac in this.
I
then he was
definitely
like,
ordered
wait
guac.
a minute, there is guac.
Yeah, halfway through the burrito, that's when you find it. Because whenever you get a burrito delivered, you gotta usually ask for extra in line. But no, when you get it delivered, they're like, we're gonna give you this little. It's made in a little sidebar.
Yeah.
You gotta stir it up. You gotta get a fork. You gotta ask them to stir it with a fork. I see people do that, and the person working at
That's not an
Chipotle-
option on Uber Eats, though.
No,
There's no stir option.
There's no stir with a fork. So you take what you get. All right, let's get into this. This
get into
is
it.
the meeting after the meeting. I'm John.
I'm Chris.
Welcome. As I mentioned, this is episode 7. We've got a great show lined up tonight.
I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped for my boy, dude.
Got an
So
amazing
pumped.
guest, somebody we've known for a long time in the program. He's a good friend of ours. We got some great topics we're going to talk about, an awesome newcomer tip of the week again tonight, and a sketch that we've never done before.
Yeah.
So this should be fun. We're going to talk a little bit about it right now.
I don't know if it'll be fun, but it'll be interesting.
So the sketch, normally we won't talk about it now, but since it requires audience participation,
Yeah, we're going
to talk about it. The sketch is called No One Likes Asking for Help. And during this sketch, the audience, which is you watching right now on Zoom, will be able to ask our guest a question.
Yeah.
And the question doesn't even necessarily have to be about AA or about his talk tonight. You can just ask him a question. Any question you want. Hey, you know what? Now this is, after last week's tirade, Chris, what's appropriate and not appropriate here for people? And ask it, come up with something fun.
We did get a complaint email.
We did. We're going to save that for another episode.
But I'm just letting people know we did.
Yeah,
we did receive a complaint.
So either way, come up with your questions during the show. So right around 8:45, 8:50-ish, we are going to ask the audience for participation. In the bottom left of your screen, I think there's a raised hand feature.
Yeah.
Raise your hand. Gabe will get you on. We'll bring up your audio, and you can say hello to everybody, and you can ask your question to our guest, who we're going to introduce right now. Our guest tonight is Lusu M from Rockville, Maryland. How's it going? Welcome.
What's going on?
How are you?
I'm good, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for inviting me.
We're happy to have you here.
Yeah,
man.
It took some convincing, though. I mean, I was like, damn, I don't know. I hit him up. I asked him. He's like, let me think about it.
Well, Luce, he's a popular guy. He's got his own podcast. And so he's like, I don't know if I got time for these jokers.
Well, I'm also in school, and I was
Are you in
thinking about the
school?
traditions. Yeah, I'm in school
I
right
didn't know
now.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in school.
All right.
But your folks are happy.
Oh my God, especially my mom. You know what I mean? Because I'm pursuing nursing, so she was a nurse, so she's like,
She's over the moon. Man.
she's like, thank God,
Took
this
you
guy.
long enough,
You know what I
Lucy.
mean?
What's going on?
48 years old, freshman.
I realize I'm
Hey,
How's that going?
It's going.
Yeah.
It's going.
Yeah.
It's going.
it's hard to dial back in after all this time.
After like
I can't even imagine.
22 years,
Yeah.
the brain is like, you gotta jumpstart it sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey,
It's like,
you ain't.
what?
I mean, I know what you mean, man.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Chris, didn't you just recently start taking some like nootropics?
Yes, sir. Yeah, Micro.
Hey, maybe Chris
micro.
can
Cell F.
put you on to some
I'm
stuff.
not plugging it, but I'm just saying.
Put you on to some stuff.
I don't know what he's talking.
I don't know either. Some of the ingredients were a little sketch. I'm going to be honest.
You all try to set me up for more complaint emails. That's what you try to do.
Some of the ingredients ended in amphetamine. I was like, I don't know.
Oh,
I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm
you
kidding.
go back to old profession, huh?
Well, hold on, man. All of it.
I just made
There's a lot of shots fired right now.
I totally just made that up. I made that up. The part about
you're
the
not wrong.
ingredient.
I didn't make anything up. though.
He said, anyway,
We used to know each other. Well, not quite, but
we
rode
were in the
circles.
same circle.
Tasted the same product.
There's no well,
You never
well,
We never know.
on the pharmaceutical side. Let's keep it real. You know what I mean? But yeah, we were definitely in the same clubs for sure.
For sure.
What a
Yeah,
gift.
I got a question. Is that your music? Because I know you're a DJ.
No. I haven't.
That's not your music.
No.
Come on, man, bring it out.
Well, it's
Are you
That's a
retired?
good idea. That's a really good idea.
We talked
Are you
about it.
retired?
no. I got some new
This
stuff.
guy can play some
He's got a
music,
gig.
man.
He's got a gig coming up. Gabe was
We
telling me.
both do. We both
Are you
do.
for real?
Yeah.
AA
Let me
party.
know.
A little AA.
Little AA
dance.
party.
We need that.
Bring me out of retirement,
Dude.
It's all electronic music.
Yeah. Little drum and bass.
Well,
Jungle.
yeah, we'll do some 140 and some 170.
Okay.
All right, now we're getting like I don't even know what you guys are talking about. All right, let's before we just talk about literally we are into. Okay, we're still good. All right, we're still good. Let's well, first off, Lusu, thanks for being here. We know you came straight from work, and we appreciate you taking the time out of your day, and look forward to hearing
And your sponsor cleared it,
about
right?
your story.
Not really.
Nah, he don't.
He doesn't. He doesn't.
It's gonna.
He said, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know?
So, all right, let's get into the basic stuff. The first thing we like to do here is talk
Stats.
about the stats.
Stats.
Sobriety date, sponsor, home group. Just tell us a little bit.
October 6, 2001. Sobriety date.
It's a long time ago.
Long
I got
time.
a home group.
Got a home group, and
Right
you got
here
a
in
sponsor
Kensington.
right here in Kensington.
And I got a sponsor who's in Pennsylvania. Yeah, who I'll see tonight after this.
Good dude.
Oh, okay, that's
good
right. Oh,
Yeah.
every week you guys do that.
Yeah, we do that
Okay,
every
wow.
week. Yeah,
That's
on
cool.
Zoom.
How many guys you get on there?
We got about 8, 9 now.
Nice.
Yeah. We do it. You know, during the quarantine, we were like insane. You know, all that fear during that quarantine.
Yeah.
And we were like, we're gonna meet once a week. You know.
Yeah.
So we decided to do it on a Wednesday, and then for one guy, because his home group meets on Wednesday, he was like, "Can we change it to 9:30?" We're like, "Okay." So we meet at 9:30. It's a late meet. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But it's perfect. You know,
do stuff
you
like this?
Yeah. So you know, you can do stuff like
Yeah,
this. I usually what I usually do is I work and then I study. Then I go. I stay home. You know.
Yeah.
And I go to my pigeon meeting. In bed by 11 o'clock
Get to sleep.
if I can.
Are you guys tight on an hour, or it is
no.
what it is? Kind of
It is
runs.
what it
It
is,
kind of
what it
runs what
is.
it runs.
It is what it
That's
is.
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
You got you always get one of those guys hasn't talk to the sponsor in forever, and he's just catching
That's
them
usually
up.
me.
You know, you got to run through a whole month.
No. You know, usually there's a couple guys who just like to talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We won't name
your
any
pigeon
names.
family.
We won't
I
name
find that hard to believe.
Oh my God. You know them too, you know? They just talk, which is fine.
Yeah.
I
You
like
know,
what they have
we
to
are
say.
recording this too, and they're probably going to be listening.
I know one of them's listening. California.
Not so subtle. Plug.
Yeah. He's my boy though. I love him.
Yeah.
I love them all.
I love all those guys, dude.
Yeah.
It's a gift, man. It is a
It's a
gift.
gift.
So let's get a little bit into your story here. We're going to go through the next segment we call the 3 W's, and let's start with a little bit on what you were like.
Oh, what I was like. Well, I always start with, I was born in this little country, Malawi, right? And Africa, it's in the southern hemisphere. And we moved here when I was 7 years old, And, we moved here, this was like the land of milk and honey, opportunity, I have an older brother, 2 younger sisters. The whole family moved here, and, it was, we got here, and I just felt different from the beginning. I've always felt like I was the black sheep, always. So when I got here, it was like, I got in second grade, I got held back a grade. You know what I mean? And it was like, what?
Not off to a good start.
Not off to a good start. And my English was terrible. And I just felt so different. And I had this older brother. And I love him. You know what I mean? I looked up to him because he was a great soccer player, and I played soccer, right? So I looked up to him. So when he started drinking, guess what? I started drinking. I did. I was like, oh, what are you doing? And my first drink was with him. And I came downstairs because my parents used to go to sleep really early. I came downstairs, took it, and he was drinking. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, shh. So he made me a drink. Gin. Nasty stuff.
Yeah. Ugh.
Disgusting.
That's a solid drink for a first one. We've heard some doozies in here.
That was my first drink.
E&J.
No, this was Malawi gin.
Oh, all right.
That just sounds strong.
It's very
It's a step
strong,
up from gasoline, from petrol.
Basically, And anyway, I took a drink and I thought it was the nastiest thing I've ever tasted in my life. I'm used to drinking Kool-Aid. I'm like 11 years old. Kool-Aid, Sprite, Fanta, stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm drinking gin. It's disgusting stuff. And I'm drinking it. It's going down. It's burning, right? I remember putting it down, looking at my brother. My head said, this is the most disgusting thing I ever drank, right? But what came out of my mouth was, can I have another drink? That's what came out of my mouth. My very first time. I was like, can I have another drink? And my brother said no. And I sat back, He said no. He was controlling my drink. And I sat back. I said, okay. I felt that warmth. My head started going. I said, you know what? I know where my father keeps his booze.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, I know what you did. I was watching. So I go downstairs, where my dad kept his booze. And I lied to my brother, I said, I got to use the bathroom,
From the first drink.
From the first drink.
It's already
dishonesty. Boom. You know what I mean? Like, I'm lying, I was like, I got to go downstairs. Not a good sign. I said, I got to go downstairs. I go downstairs. I make myself a drink. And I remember that gin was nasty. So my dad had top shelf stuff, He had Remy. It was dark liquor, Remy. So I made myself a drink. Sweet, burnt going down. Right? Put it down. I was like, let me try this other stuff. Right? Johnny Walker.
Just already.
Lord, man.
Just trying.
Johnny Walker Red Label.
11.
Hey, now you're stepping it up.
Stepping it up. Boom. Took another drink. Put it down. I said, let me try this other stuff. Vodka. Became the love of my life.
Me too, man. Me too.
Made that drink. Boom. Set that down. Went back to the Remy because it was sweet. Boom. Made myself 4 drinks. Bam. In a row. Walked upstairs. Sat down with my brother. We had the best time ever. Started laughing. God knows what was on TV. Whatever it was the funniest thing. You know?
Didn't matter.
Didn't matter. Right? Go upstairs. Stairs were like, woo, 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 woo. You know, he's like, go to bed. I was like, okay. I got to bed. Circling.
Oh.
Lights out. Right? And I was like, and I woke up the next day thinking, you know, I'm not, you know, there's no, you know, I didn't think that I was going to run away from home, you know, none of that, you know. I didn't think I was going to, you know, destroy any relationship that had any type of meaning for me, you know. I had none of that at all, you know. I woke up thinking, or I didn't wake up thinking, I'm going to drink every day either, right? I woke up thinking, my brother knows something I don't know. He's the coolest dude on the planet. I'm going to try to hang out with him as much as possible.
Right.
So I became like annoying little brother. What are you doing? Can I come with you? You know, that's what happened to me. From my very first drink, you know, I was consumed with alcohol.
You had discovered something.
It was a
discovery, like we talk about.
Right.
It was a discovery.
In every sense of the way.
Yeah.
Changed your whole perception.
Changed my whole perception of everything. Everything. You know? And from that day, I was like, okay, what are we doing? Where are we going?
So let's move it on. What did you start doing? Where did you go? You know, we probably got time for one more on what you were like. Is there a story that kind of just, before you get into what happened, that kind of, you know, encompasses your drinking for what it was, what it became in your life? Well,
this is what happened. You know, I started disappearing from my parents, from my life, basically. You know, I would disappear, you know, for the weekend. I would disappear for weekdays, you know. Then weekdays became a month. Month became weeks, you know, 6 months, you know, and then I came home and had dreadlocks. And I told my parents I was moving out. They're like, where the hell are you? You know what I mean? Like, you know, I just disappeared from my parents' lives, from my family, you know, and because because the truth is I just wanted to party. I just wanted to drink without any remorse or anybody saying, hey, what are you doing? Yeah. Stop drinking.
Because you can't bring that stuff home.
No.
No.
My parents didn't drink.
Yeah.
My mom had half a glass of wine the whole life.
I mean, I moved out when I was 17, and that was it.
Yeah.
There was no one. There was no governor on me. There was no monitor. There was nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and I lived 3 miles away from my mom, and I didn't see her for 6, 7, 8 months at a time. I'd come home maybe on the holidays.
Yeah.
That's it.
You know, maybe our birthday.
Maybe a birthday, a holiday.
Bring her a flower.
Yeah.
You know, like that's okay.
If that, let's be honest.
You know, my mom, when I got sober, she was like, you know, you always give me a flower on my birthday. I was like, really? Totally. I didn't even remember it. I was like, I had no idea. You know, so.
Hey,
but that's how I was like. That. You know, that's how I was like. It just disappeared. You know, from the people who cared the most about me, and I didn't even think that they cared about me. You know, I was convinced they hated me, you know, convinced of it. You know, if they knew who I really was, you would, you know, disown me, you know. So I behaved the way I just, any way I wanted, you know. And I just drank and partied, you know. And I just said this one story. I came home one time. Actually, my uncle passed away, and it took 2 days for my brother to find me. So I came home. And my mom was like, where were you? Your uncle passed away. Where were you? You know? And this was her youngest brother, right? And I was like, what was going to tell her? Mom, I was at the club selling drugs. I had this, you know, I had to get rid of something. You know what I mean? Oh, I was at this party, you know, down the street. You know? What was I going to say? There's nothing I could have said to her, you know? And I just looked at her, sad. She turned away. I said, all right, called my buddy. Was gone again.
Tipped out. Yeah.
You know, gone again.
Can always escape.
Always escape. You know, no thought or care about anybody. No one. You know, that's how it was.
And, you know, with that, what kind of happened? Where did you find yourself at the end? What would you say was your jumping off place where you realized maybe you couldn't go on drinking?
Well, what happened to me was I got arrested. I got busted, you know, in Arlington County.
Not a good place.
Not a good place, you know. And I was on my way to D.C., you know, and I had this bag of weed on my lap, right? And
Come on.
You know what I mean? I know. You know what I mean?
What the fuck?
I know, you know. And
Was it your car?
It was my dad's car.
Nice.
Not even in the glove compartment.
No, it was on my lap because I was playing with it. You know what I mean? You know, I was just kind of, you know, and I forgot it was there.
They don't know, Lusu, because back in the day, we used to get that brick stuff, and you had to break it up.
Yeah, you had to break it up.
It wasn't ready to smoke right away. You know what I mean? You had to kind of
get the stems.
You had to work
out.
on it.
You had to work on it.
You had to work on
seeds out.
the seeds out. I mean,
Sounds like a dark time.
It was a dark time.
It was a dark time.
It's like caveman days.
I mean, why do you think
smoking.
they call them bricks?
Yeah, exactly.
They call them bricks for a reason. Because you could hurt somebody with one of
I
those.
could have easily, you know. So anyway, I'm sitting there and it falls out. I get pulled over and it falls out. You know.
Well, it's on your lap. I mean,
it was on my lap.
It's not like you're hiding it.
Well, the cop said, you know, license and registration. I gave it to him. Surprise, surprise. License was suspended.
Oh my God. And you're not driving your car.
I'm not driving my car.
Your license is suspended.
Exactly.
And you got a pound of weed on your lap.
Well, not a pound. It was a quarter. You know?
Enough.
Enough. But beforehand, I had almost a pound. You know, because I was doing little drops everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So hold on. When you got pulled over, you forgot it was on your lap.
I forgot it was on my lap.
I don't even know how to describe. I don't even know.
I was burnt, man.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be so burnt.
He's
You got to
burnt,
understand.
man.
When I was driving around with weed, if I got pulled over, I would have been so paranoid and afraid. You were so burned out. You didn't even realize you had
I
weed on your
didn't know.
lap.
Wait, hold on. What time were you driving?
This was probably around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
In the
Okay,
afternoon.
well, at least you had the time right.
It's not even like it was dark in the car and you
No.
didn't see. You could have plain sight.
Yeah, 'cause I used to
And
like
I
that.
was in Arlington, and I was in Roslyn. I could see the Key Bridge.
Yeah.
You know, because once you're in D.C., it's all good.
Yeah.
I was watching. I
You'd
was
have to
man,
run someone over to get pulled over.
Exactly. I was like,
We used to light
man, I
up
was
right
so
when we
close.
crossed the bridge. You know what I mean?
I was so close, you know.
Yeah.
But so he tells me get out of the car, and it fell off, you know. And then they searched and they found all these other things on me. So I got busted for like the 5th time.
Yeah.
You know, and that was it. That was, for me, that was the jumping off place.
Because you're probably already on probation.
I wasn't on probation. I just gotten off,
Oh, that's good.
you know. And
So how from that did you end up getting sober?
so from there, I didn't get sober right off the bat. I went on a bender, and I don't even know how long it was, you know. And
One of those, like, I just got to get this out of my mind kind of
yeah,
benders.
exactly. You know.
Which makes no sense.
Doesn't, but
You're in the most trouble you've ever been. I mean, it does. to
but it
me.
makes all the
Yeah.
sense at the same time, you know.
You're like, I need to get really fucked up.
You know, I mean, I'm facing deportation, all these things,
Yeah.
right? I know I was going to get deported because all my friends had, and I'm like, partying my ass off.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why normal people look at us like, what is wrong with you?
Like,
What is
seriously?
wrong with you?
And my dad, my parents are begging me to move back home. And I'm like, okay, I'm coming. You know, like, you just got, you're facing, you got 5 felonies.
Yeah.
Please move back home. I'm like, I got this.
Yeah.
I got this. You know?
You and Chris are very similar. You guys have very similar stories.
In a lot of
man.
ways. You know what's funny though? You know, when I'm talking to new guys today, I can forget that insanity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Very easily.
I find myself saying to them probably what my mom said to me, probably what people who cared about me said to me over and over again. What were you thinking? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I find myself thinking that about people
Yeah.
I'm talking to today. Like, what
Exactly.
were you thinking? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When we are, and the reality is we know what they're
I know-
thinking. Nothing. They're not
Nothing.
thinking anything.
Alcoholism,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
They don't
It's
know.
alcoholism.
It's alcoholism.
Yeah.
Man.
We don't
Blind
think
you.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I was,
Yeah.
completely blinded by something else, you know. So that's what happened.
So that's how. So you ended up getting sober because of just fear, because of.
At first, it was fear because I got busted.
It's called a nudge from the judge.
I got that. I got a straight up nudge. You know, and fear of being deported back home. You know, and I was, you know, and that's what was
probably
supposed to
saved
happen.
your life.
It did. I'm so grateful for what happened.
Yep.
You know, because I got arrested. I went on this bender, and then I was tired. I had a court case coming up. I called a friend. I said, "Hey, man," because she was getting sober at the time. I went in this detox in Chantilly, and that's where I was found. You know, people brought in meetings. Thank God for that.
That's where you were found.
I was found.
I like that.
That's an
found.
important distinction, I think.
They, you know,
Because I was found too.
I was found. You know, these guys brought in meetings in there from my home group, and they carried a message to me. You know, and that message, the only thing I heard was, you know, from my first sponsor, he said, "I played soccer. That's what I did." You know, he started getting high and started drinking. That's what I did. That's all I heard.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, but I was in so much trouble. I was trying to get out of trouble, right? And I was like, you know what? Let me go hang out with him. You know, because he said to me, this was important. He said, if you hang out with us, we're not drinking, we're not getting high, and we're not getting in trouble. I don't know why he added that third part.
I don't know.
But that was important for you.
That was important.
Yeah.
He said, we're not getting in trouble. I was like, shit, I'm in trouble. You know, I was like, you know, I'm about to get deported.
Yeah, you don't need more trouble.
He was like, come on, hang out with us. I was like, okay, I will. And I had dreadlocks down to here, you know, and that's what happened.
But sometimes that's all it is, you know, what I said was to myself when I got out this last time, I said, maybe if I don't drink and I don't do narcotics and I don't sell narcotics, then I won't get into trouble. And where can I do that? Maybe I'll try that in AA. I didn't say that I was an alcoholic.
No.
I didn't even know what one was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just wanted to get out of trouble or not get into any more trouble. And I thought if I didn't drink and do drugs, that probably would be a good start.
You know, the thought of quitting drinking never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
You know, because I didn't think I was an alcoholic. How could I be alcoholic? Because I like drinking. See, I had that obsession. If I could drink like my brother, my uncle, all these other, my friends, all these other people I'm seeing drinking, if I could just drink like them.
I mean, like quitting at last call?
Yeah.
Not going to the after hours?
I didn't think there was a problem with that.
I thought it was a problem if you didn't go. I mean,
I thought that was normal.
Normal.
I thought if I could stop doing the drugs I was doing, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
And drink like a gentleman. That was my greatest. I just need to drink like a gentleman. I'll be fine. You know? And then because my first sponsor was an NA, you know? And this is crazy. What happened was, the day I got out of detox, I called my NA sponsor. He goes, get to a meeting. I said, what meeting? He goes, I don't give a shit. Get to a meeting. No one had talked to me like that. You know, I had dreadlocks. I was like, yo, you know, does this guy know who I am? And I called this guy in AA. I said, hey, man, I'm out. He said, where are you? I'll come and pick you up.
Damn.
Two different approaches.
Right.
He picked me up and he changed my life. Changed my life.
Yeah.
You're not saying that can't happen in NA.
Not saying that can't happen.
I mean? Just two different styles.
Just two different styles.
With,
you know what I mean?
sponsors.
Maybe, you know, somebody else came out, he would have been like, I'll come pick you up. I have no idea. But that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Thank God.
Thank God. You know, and he introduced me to everybody. Everybody.
Because it's hard enough.
Yeah.
It's hard enough just to convince yourself, all right, I'm going to make a phone call and ask for help.
Yeah.
You know, and then have somebody be like, I don't know, man, figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure it out. The only thing I can figure out is how to get high.
Yeah. I was like, I had no clue. And this guy just said, come with me.
Yeah.
You know?
Simple.
He's like, it's very simple. He's like, hey, we're going out to eat.
Yeah.
Let's go. I was like, okay. What are you doing Monday? We're going to eat at this person's house, you know, and then we're going to go to the meeting. I was like, okay. No one was inviting me anywhere. You know what I mean? If you were hanging out with me, you're going to get arrested.
It's hard to imagine you with dreadlocks.
I had them
because you've been bald for a long time.
I know.
When did you have the dreadlocks till? What year?
20s.
I was in my 20. I was 23 years old. You know what was happening was my dreadlocks were falling off. I didn't know I was going bald off the top of my head, right? So all the dreads were good. I thought I was sick. You know how we are. I thought I was sick. You know, I was like, damn, my hair is falling off. You know, and then I could smell the weed in my dreadlocks sometimes. So my sponsor said, why don't you, because they were telling me to cut my, I was like, I'm not cutting my dreads. He said, why don't you cut your dreadlocks and grow sober ones? I said, no way. I was like, yes, I want to grow sober dreadlocks. This was back in 1997, you know what I mean? Never grown sober. I've never grown them back. Bald as hell.
It's a lot easier, probably.
It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier.
I feel like your sponsor could have had some dreadlocks of his own back in the day.
Yeah. Well, you know, I didn't have.
You had a big head of hair.
It was a different sponsor, though. I had a different sponsor. You know, he was my grand sponsor at that time.
Yeah.
You know, and
oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he was my grand sponsor at that time. You know, but yeah, man. That's
so you got into AA and real quick. Well, why don't we do this, man? Let's move on to our topic we're going to get into this week. I do want to remind everybody again to be ready for our sketch coming up here in about 20 minutes where you're going to be able to ask Lusu a question. No one likes asking for help, but tonight we're going to ask for help. We're going to start off with our topic. I'm going to start with Chris and we'll move on to Lusu after that. The topic tonight is falling off the beam with years of recovery. How
is this
to
why
get
you guys
back.
got me on here?
Well, look, I try to tailor our topics to people and different things that maybe they've experienced a little bit of.
You guys been listening.
You know.
Well, look.
So, but Chris, what's your experience falling off the beam? How to get back?
I always say, first of all, AA is a series of recommitments. That's it. I mean, I'm constantly recommitting myself to Alcoholics Anonymous, daily, weekly, monthly. But there have been some times where I have, like, not by choice, but I've been sort of distracted from AA and the routines that we have here. And, you know, you were a part of this. Back in 2012, you know, we did a thing, and it was a big thing. It was an event that we were doing, and it was all-encompassing. And just because of the schedule and, you know, I mean, it just was like, didn't get to as many meetings as I wanted to. And then when I went back, I felt it.
Yeah.
I would sit in a meeting, I was like, I didn't know anyone. I mean, I knew the people that I've always known, and they were there. But there were dozens and dozens of new people. I had no idea who they were. I felt new again. And that's a crossroad because I'm sure people feel like that often. I mean, this was something I was involved in that, you know, was kind of work-related. But people do one or two things at that crossroad. Either they stray off. They say, you know what, I can't go in on this again and get to know these people again. I feel like out of place. Or you have to just dive back in and recommit. And I'm glad that my feet, you know, have been trained to just get back in and get to know these people and you know, and be of service all over again. And you know what happens is it happens very quickly. You feel better. Yeah. After about a week of kind of plugging back in and going to meetings and talking to people again, I was fine. You know, it happens quickly. You feel good once you're just taking the actions.
And how to get back? You just get back. You just start doing it.
You start doing it.
Exactly.
You know.
Lusu, how about you? What has been, if any, of your experience with falling off the beam with years of sobriety? Not right away. You know, you kind of get comfortable in life. Things are going well, and it's just, you know, I'm gonna start by doing a little bit less here, a little bit less there. Have you found yourself in that position?
You know, for me, it was I started dating someone, and they were normal. Well, somewhat normal.
Not alcoholic.
They were me, okay? Yeah. So they're not that normal, okay?
No one's really normal.
No one is normal.
No one.
We use that term normal, and what it really means is code for non-alcoholic.
Not alcoholic. And that's what we should say, because, I mean, no one's really
But it's hard, but we
normal.
use the term normal for so long, you know?
No one is normal.
No.
I'm convinced.
A normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, a normie, non-alcoholic.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I started dating this person, and she, another story for another day. She she, we fell in love, and she wasn't going to meetings, so I wanted to give her some time, I want to give her time. My first real relationship, I want to give her time. So slowly but surely, I started cutting off meetings. Like, I'm going to stay home tonight. I'm going to do this tonight. I'm going to do this tonight. And then something happened, and I found myself only going to about 2-3 meetings a week, and I was fine. I was actually okay until she got real sick. And I was, it just floored me. I got really scared. And I called my sponsor. I said, she's real sick. He said, how many meetings are you going to? I said, wait a minute. She's sick. He's like, how many meetings are you going to? I said 2 or 3, And he's like, well, I think you need to go to more. So we went day by day. Because I was way off the beam, 2 years of doing this, And I thought I was fine, And just like you, Chris, I jumped right in. But I needed my sponsor's help. I really did, And we went day by day what meeting I should go to, And he said, you got to get service. I was like, oh, my God. Started making cookies. Started making cakes.
Cookies are so good. Those one you made for that Monday night meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I know what your favorite are, the butterscotch one.
Oh, I mean, not just me.
That's your favorite.
It is my favorite. But
I remember.
It's a lot of people really like those.
I know. I still make those cookies too,
I wouldn't know.
7 years. I know you should come, and that's what happened. I had to jump into service, and I didn't feel better right off the bat, but it took me a while, like, okay, and I'll tell you what happened too, is that I started going to this thing called Taco Tuesday that this guy Mike P was doing, right? And I forgot how important that was, that relationship, that meeting before the meeting.
Meeting before the meeting.
The meeting before the meeting.
That's our
eating.
Direct competitor.
The eating part. I thought that you're a direct competitor.
What if? Wouldn't that be crazy?
I'm going to start a podcast called
The Meeting Before the Meeting.
It's going to be centered on food.
It's an eating meeting. It's an eating meeting.
It's going to be eating meeting. Make some food, And so I started doing this Taco Tuesday thing. And I remember my first day going there, I thought, people still doing this.
Yeah.
People still hanging out, eating before the meeting, and then going to the meeting afterwards.
Yeah.
Man.
And then hanging out after that.
Yeah. Man. Changed my whole trajectory.
So it sounds like the way to get back on is to just jump back in, but a big part of that is service. I think for me, having commitments, right? Like I am somebody who...
It's got to be a commitment.
I'm somebody who, if I have a commitment, I'm more likely to show up.
Exactly.
If I've got cookies to make or chairs to set up or coffee to make or a door to unlock, I am much more likely to show up than if I'm just...
people are relying on you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so...
And then your ego is kind of on the line a little bit.
You don't want to let them down. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
The new guy starts making coffee. He's like, God, if I don't come and make the coffee, what are they going to do?
What are they going to do?
Yeah. If you're listening, you're new. We're not going to be able to.
Wayne will make it.
Somebody make it.
Wayne will make the coffee.
Yeah, he's a great
Been making coffee for a long time.
He's a great coffee maker.
He's a great coffee maker.
Back and making it again at KYD, man.
Is it for real?
Yeah. Trust me, we're grateful.
Yeah.
Right. Gabe picks him up.
Yeah, he texts me every week for a ride. Yeah. We go make the coffee.
Nice.
Yeah, I wouldn't make it to that meeting every Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, now I probably would just to see you guys, but to get me into it, like at the beginning, like why would I want to go every Friday? Every Friday night, but it's commitment.
Yeah.
So having commitments, great way to get back on if you're off the beam.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Talking to your sponsor sounds like another one.
Absolutely.
That's something that's easy to fall away from too, I think, as you stay sober longer, maybe not regularly having that communication as much because there's not as much going on. Life is good. Or even just, and this is sometimes me, it's like, I don't know if I really want to tell. I'm like, talk to this guy. Like, I messed up. I already told him about this last time. I don't want to tell him again. And it's just...
It's hard to get the wheels turning again, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a massive locomotive just trying to get going again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it takes some effort. I mean, it's obviously it's better to just stay in the middle, you know, but it's not, that's an unrealistic ideal. I mean, you know, things are going to happen. Life is going to happen. You're going to have, you know, it happened again when I had kids. My first kid, actually, you know, turned my world upside down. And this is before there were online meetings. There was no Zoom meetings. And you know, it was crazy. I bet. Missed a couple months where I didn't get to a meeting. And, man, so, I mean, it can happen through no fault of your own, but hopefully you've got a sponsor and people around you that can plug you back in.
Yeah.
Point you in the right direction.
And meetings are important, but sometimes you can't make it to as many. And that's why we need a spiritual plan of action. We need to have a higher power. We need to have these things in our lives.
Something that's bigger.
Something that's bigger than just a meeting.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, which kind of actually brings us to our next segment of the show. Like get into the newcomer tip of the week.
Yes. Oh,
here we go.
Oh, look
at this.
Look at her. She's like, who are you texting?
Who are you texting? I like that.
She needs to straighten out mentally.
He's probably, you know what he probably has on his phone? He probably has that
MGM
tinted,
Sports.
that tinted screen thing that you can like. I used to have one of those back in the day. Thought I was being sketchy. Like people from the side couldn't see my screen.
All he's doing is sports betting anyway. I mean, nothing nefarious.
So the tip of the week for the newcomers, if you're new and this is your first time watching or your first time listening, welcome. Every week we try to come up with a tip, maybe something that I definitely didn't think about when I was new or didn't even understand. And this week we have a new tip that is when the spiritual malady is overcome, we straighten out mentally and physically. That might seem like a lot for a newcomer. I will say I debated a little bit. I debated a little bit over it, but I felt like there was no real better way to say it. I thought of a dumbed down way to say it, and I think we can do that right now. Basically, what it's saying is, I know that for me, I liked to think about getting my car back, making some money, getting a place, hitting the gym, getting all those things right before I really wanted to dive into this whole God and spirituality thing with you all. And what I think our tip this week is you probably should start working the steps and trying some AA. And what follows are some of those other gifts.
Yeah, I mean, when I was new, I was hopping the turnstiles on the metro without a thought. I mean, I just was like, it's not like I didn't have money. I just chose to spend it on cigarettes rather than metro. And I did it for 7-8 months until my sponsor was like, "Wait, you do what?" Because I was like, "I don't pay for the metro." He's like, "What?" And,
you're doing a budget with him?
Yeah,
and he was like,
"What?"
He's like, "What's your metro budget?" You're like, "Oh, zero."
Yeah, zero. And it's like that stuff didn't even occur. That's like straightening out mentally. I mean, it didn't even occur to me that was a problem. And the way that I treated relationships and women, I mean, that's a whole episode to be done on that. There was no shot at me changing any of that until I took the steps, and you got to remember, I mean, people coming in all sorts of conditions with all sorts of problems. And it's like, you know what? It doesn't matter. Let's try to, we'll keep you in the ER as long as we can, put some of that stuff on ice, but let's get into the steps because that's the only shot you have.
Yeah.
Really changing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need that like mental piece to like tackle anything else,
Definitely. And I think for someone who's new, again, this seems a little bit more advanced, but it doesn't have to be that complicated. It can be some of the simple things Lusu was talking about, getting a sponsor. Getting a home group. I know that I was so focused on these outside things and they were going to be my solution, but it would be like any other illness. If you had cancer and you just were like, you know what, I just need a car and I need a new place to live and I'm sure my cancer is going to get better. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. But with alcoholism, for some reason, we can't see it that clearly. No. That we need to start taking some different actions spiritually, which is a big word too for people, I think, but spiritually through working the steps.
Yeah. I try to keep it real simple. Come and hang out with us as much as possible. As much as possible. Be with us. Mm-hmm. Come to the meeting.
Because that's where the spiritual message is.
That's where it is. That's
where it is.
That's where I learned everything.
Yeah.
I learned everything hanging out with you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If I was sitting in the meeting listening to you, half the time I'm not even paying attention. Half the time I wasn't paying attention, especially for the first 2 years.
Yeah.
I was really not paying attention. I could not. But when I was
stuff
with
gets
you,
in though.
Yeah, stuff gets in. You still if you go to meeting every day, stuff gets in. But when I'm with you, I behave better. Mm-hmm. When I'm hanging out with you, especially with somebody with a little bit of time, who's active, who's making a coffee. If you're making a coffee,
come along.
Yeah, come along.
Help me make these cookies. Help me make this cake.
Exactly. Yep. That's what I do. I got to make cookies at 6. Come to my house at 6. Help me make the cookies. I'll feed you. We go to the meeting.
Yep.
And I'll teach them how to make cookies.
Yeah.
It's got to invite people into your lives. Got to keep this simple.
I was like a child when I got sober. I was an adult, but I didn't know how to do a lot of the normal things that adults do, right? Do dishes, cook, laundry, pay bills, budget. All those things were things that I didn't know how to do.
No.
And so, like you said, hanging around people who were living this way of life, most of them were living by example. I was able to watch them do these things. Yeah. And if I didn't know how to do them and I didn't see them do it, they would teach me. They would take their time to show me how to do. I mean, I've had my sponsor help me with basic stuff. He would pull me aside and just be like, we need to talk about this, and he would just help me with something.
But there's always a degree of triage that's necessary.
Absolutely.
And you said you were a child, but I was a 30-year-old child. I was 30 years old, and there was basic stuff I had missed.
Yeah. I had like 12 years sober, 13 years sober when they, the 5 cents things. When you shared the story, I was like, there was a couple times when that 5 cents, I was like, I'm not paying 5 cents. That's an extra 5 cents for a bag. What the? You know what I mean? So the self checkout, the self checkout. Yeah. No, what I mean? Right. I had to make amends for that. So I was like, damn, I'm stealing 5 cents.
Yeah. For a plastic bag.
13 years sober. You know what I'm saying?
The Chipotle water cup and soda. That's another one that I would see people do that. After you get sober, while you start judging those people, I bet, God, that person's stealing a small cup of soda.
You develop this consciousness.
Yeah.
I feel like my sponsor does that all the time.
Does he?
Does, dude.
Didn't one of your sponsees bring a bottle of the sauce back from Chipotle, and he was like, Chris, I got you this sauce. And you're like, oh, thanks, man. Where'd you get this from? He's like, I took it from Chipotle.
Yeah.
You're like, what the heck, man?
Thief.
Take that back. Yeah. But to him, it seemed normal. Like, what do you mean? That's how we are.
Yeah, that's how we are.
My sponsor took a bag of chips from KYP. From the meeting on Friday night.
He made amends for it, though.
He did.
It took a lot of heat.
Yeah, he did. It took him a while.
I'm like, where did you get that bag? He's like, I was like, in the kitchen. I was like, that's not ours. He's like, I'll replace. I paid for it. He tried to lie.
I love your sponsor.
I do too. Yeah. I give him a lot of grief. But
one day we'll get him on.
One day.
One day. No. I do love cooking with
It's hard to get turned down twice, John, right?
It is.
Ooh.
Yeah. We tried to have him on. He rejected us. So
did he really?
He said he had something to do. But hey.
What are you going to do?
The meeting has beef.
Uh-oh.
No, he loves this right now. The fact that we're
talking about him.
Yeah.
He's getting airtime.
With that, we are going to get into our final segment again. Get ready for do we have some people online, Gabe?
Let me check right now. We have some people.
Do we have some people? All right. So
I have one.
You will.
I have one, but.
All right. So here's what we're going to hope to do. We're going to hope to get some raised hands here. We're going to be doing a segment called No One Likes Asking for Help. Look at that guy. That's me. That's like me road raged out angry at people on the road. So, all right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to try to get through some questions here from our people online. If you'd like to ask a question, just raise your hand. You're going to get unmuted.
Oh, did you like the road rage guy?
I love the road rage guy. Say,
he looked like
he needs help.
Say hello to Lusu and ask Lusu. Just ask a question, and that will be it. And Lusu will answer it.
Yeah,
so
we got Michael.
We got first. We got Michael.
Yeah, we got Michael.
Michael.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Lucy, I just had a question. Have you been back to Maui since you left?
Oh, that's a
Have you
great
been back
question.
there? How often have you been back there?
It's
Do you want to be
Malawi.
back there?
And
That's
yes, I
what I
have.
said. I totally said that.
You said Bali.
I did.
It's all good. It's all good.
It's a little over Zoom. It's a
all
little
Got
rough.
off work, you're
It's
tired.
all good. Malawi.
Thanks for the question, Mike.
Yeah, it's a good question. Yes, I have been back. Last time I was back there, the first time I went back there was 1998. I was sober, and then I went back there in 2004. I need to go back. I love that place.
You got family there.
I got family there. In 1998, I made amends. And to my grandparents and everybody. And it's funny because when I went there, man, because I drank a lot in Malawi. There's no drinking age, so every time we go back, for me it was just a party, right? And so I was really scared, and my response was like, "Dude, you got to do 8-step." Right, so I did the 8-step, right, but I didn't do it the right way, And we're driving, and we're driving to work, and he throws my 8-step outside
Outside of the car.
outside of the car on 495, and he says, "I would wipe my ass if this was the last piece of paper on the earth," and throws it out the window. I was like, "Oh my God, there goes my 8-step on 495. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I had to redo it again.
I'm pretty sure no one read it.
Not on 495.
I'm sure no one read it, but I was afraid. I was like,
Yeah.
that's my story. You know what I mean?
So good.
So
self-centered.
So self-centered. So selfish, and lazy as hell. You know what I mean? I just, I didn't even think of it. So I did it again. And when I went there, I made my amends, to my grandfather and my grandparents, aunts and uncles. But yeah, I've been back there sober, and I love it. I need to go back for sure.
I like that.
A lot of people come visit us though, because they're like, "Don't come, we're gonna come there." You know what I mean? So yeah,
That's good.
good question.
That's good. That is a great question. Who do we got next?
We got a written question.
A written question.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's hear it.
So we got Lusu. You seem like a good guy. I can attest you are a good guy. Were you always this cool? And did you always care about people in your life this much?
Absolutely not. I thought I was cool, you know what I mean? But I disappeared. Like I said in my story, I disappeared from people's lives. That was it. The people who cared the most about me, my family, I just disappeared from, and even friends. If you did something to me, forget it. I didn't talk about anything, or you hurt my feelings. None of that. You did something messed up, or I perceived was crazy. You aren't my friend anymore. I would just cut people off. That's what I would do.
Where did
And
you
I
learn
thought-
to be different?
In Alcoholics Anonymous, in Alcoholics Anonymous, and in the process of doing that 4-step and the 9-step, especially the 9-step, when I had to make amends to my mother and my dad, they didn't want to hear nothing, so my sponsor had me eating dinner with them, every Thursday I ate dinner with my folks, and at first I'll go eat dinner, and then I got to go to the meeting, the meeting,
Yeah.
And then I remember going to the meeting, and after he was like, my sponsor was like, "Well, dude, what are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be with your?" He's like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "I had to come to the meeting. I had dinner with my folks." He said, "What?" He said, "Why don't you have dinner and hang there?" I was like, "What about the meeting?" He's like, "Hang with your folks, make amends to them." I was like, "Wow, what do I do?" I had no idea because I didn't know how to be.
Yeah.
Especially with my parents, And I learned how to be. After dinner, I'll do the dishes. You know, I help him with the dishes.
Yeah.
You know, then I'll sit and watch TV with my mom. And she would talking and telling me stories. You know, and I got to know my mother. I got to know my dad. You know, I got to know that when I would come home when I was drinking, they would send my sister to Chicago where my sister was in school. Like, okay, your brother's coming into town. You got to go. Here's a ticket. Fly to Chicago. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
That's what I did to
They
her.
didn't want her to be around you.
They didn't want me. Yeah. She was afraid of me.
Yeah.
And I had no clue.
Yeah.
No idea. You know, I'm talking about 6, 7 years into sobriety. That's when I heard this story. And I was like, that's what I did to him? That's what I did to my little sister? She was so afraid of me. They had to fly her to Chicago. They had to, send her somewhere else. I had no clue.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I did. If you call that cool, and I thought I was cool.
Yeah.
Dreadlocks, sold drugs, had a pit bull named Onyx, you know what I mean? Like, I thought I was the man, you know what I mean? But all these other things.
Yeah, we like the bald Lusu better. Do we got any more? We got another written question? We got any other hands?
No, we got a hand. We got
a hand.
Amanda.
Amanda.
You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, hey, what's up, Amanda?
First time caller. Hey guys.
How's it going?
Lusu, good to hear you. I have a question. How do you maintain a good prayer and meditation life? I have a hard time being consistent. And how do you do that, Lusu?
Good question.
Great question. Yeah, Amanda. I can feel I can see the sweat.
I want to know too.
Thank
you, Amanda.
Tell me.
You know what's funny? I woke up this morning, right, and I picked up my daily reflections, and the date was March 13th. What's the date today?
29th.
The 29th. That tells you a lot.
Yeah,
that tells you everything, you know what I mean? And for a long time, I just wake up. The first thing I do is go to my office because I work from home. And I got my 4 books, So, to consistently do it is still a very difficult thing for me, But this is what I do. I pray throughout the whole day. If I have a feeling, maybe a commercial alcohol comes along. I'm 21 years sober. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I never tried that vodka. I was like, wait a minute.
What you missed.
You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I say a prayer. God, please help me. 21 years sober. Yeah. I still say that prayer because that's what I was taught when I was brand new. It still works today. If it worked for me back then, it's definitely going to work
Definitely
for me
work now.
You know what I mean? So I was like, but I tell you, I get up, I have 4 books that I read almost every morning. Sometimes if I can't do that, I'm definitely going to pray throughout that day, definitely, And if I'm going through something difficult, that's what really drives me. Like, okay, I'm going to sit and pray today. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's why I was, this morning I was like, man, I gotta read, just get these thoughts, and, change my thinking, and it really does, But I pray throughout the whole day, every single day. And I keep it simple. God, please help me. That's it. Your first sponsor. Your first sponsor taught me that.
Hey, he taught me the same thing. So it's God, please help us, man. Well, we're out of time. I wish we could have some more questions answered.
I could talk with you all day.
I know this is
amazing.
Thank you to our listeners who had questions for Lusu. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Lusu, thank you so much for coming on. Yeah. We really, again, we hang out all the time. We love talking to you and listening to your experience. It was great having you. And we're going to have another great episode next week.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
Of the meeting after the meeting. It's going to be the same time, same place, 8:00 Wednesday night here on Zoom. We have another great guest, another great sketch. and a whole lot more. So, again, thanks, Lou.
Thank you for having
Chris.
us.
Thank you, Lou.
Thanks, Gabe.
This was awesome.
Thanks, Gabe.
That's it.
We want your music, Chris. Seriously.
Okay. Well,
I think we're gonna get it on.
Get on the next episode, maybe. Maybe not the next one. Maybe not the next one.
Come on, man. Bring it out. Because I know you still got them.
Oh, yeah. I still got it.
Have a good night, everybody.